Our special call meeting of your Danville City Commission for today, Monday, February 28th, 2022. The time now is 5:30 something-ish. We're going to be led in a word of prayer by Commissioner Cotto and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led this afternoon by Commissioner Holland.
At this time, if you don't mind, I would like for us to have a moment of silence for former Mayor Bernie Hunstad, who passed away recently, and just need to keep him in our thoughts and prayers. So if you wouldn't mind, just a moment of silence, please. We ask for peace and grace for his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Holland. Should we offer Commissioner Holland a key to the city this afternoon for his services? Fellow commissioners, you have the agenda, the amended agenda, and you've had it since last Friday. So unless there's other comments or concerns, I'd like to ask that we approve the agenda as presented, except we're going to eliminate item number 2. We're going to leave it in? Okay, so we're going to approve the agenda as presented. So that meets the pleasure of the rest of the commission?
Yes, sir.
So let's move right along then. We're at the point where we hear the public at this point on our agenda, and this is to hear from the public who are in attendance today. And this public section is about items that are on our agenda. So if there's anyone who is desiring to speak to us about an item on the agenda, please raise your hands. I'll try to recognize you. And we'd ask that you limit yourselves to 3 minutes or less, if you want to talk to us about an item. So seeing no volunteers, and we'll move right along to item number 1, approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. Chair would entertain a motion to accept.
Move for approval of the minutes of the meetings of 2/14, 2/17, and 2/21 as presented.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any questions, additions, or deletions? If not, the chair would call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. The next item is a presentation by the emergency housing presentation, Michelle Baker. All right, Ms. Baker.
There may be a miscommunication. We don't have a presentation today, just more of an update. So I'm Michelle. I was here, I think, December, spoke with you all. And we gave you all our annual report then and spoke with you all about the things that we were able to accomplish with our ESG grant that we were lucky to get through COVID. Currently, our money has completely run out, so we're unable to really serve our homeless population right now, other than through hotel vouchers that people in our wonderful community are sending to us. We do feel like we have a lot of support in our community. A lot of people that want to help don't know how to help. We wanted to come and let you all know today that we are preparing to launch a capital campaign for emergency housing. I think the last time we were here, it was kind of determined that there was not going to be a property that maybe the city could give us. So today, we come just ask if the city could help us with $100,000 to get started.
You want to rephrase that, restate that? You're asking the city to...
Well, maybe maybe through a fundraiser or just help.
Also, the fundraising goal is $100,000, And you're asking the city to consider making a donation toward that goal.
Sure, our capital campaign, we plan to start at $500,000 for that.
Oh,
So we're just coming to the city to see what you all can help us with.
Oh, okay.
Very worthy cause. I hope we can work that in the budget. It'd be a good idea.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, great timing on the ask, because we are in that process.
Yep.
Any other, and we normally don't exchange or have comments or questions during this time period, but because you've tossed out a financial request, any other comments?
I was going to ask, what do you spend most of the money on? What do you find it going to primarily?
Definitely, long-term, whenever we have the funds, most of it went through, we had 2 apartment units that we were able to list for long-term. And right now, hotel vouchers, because that's all we can really afford to do. But what we want is a place that can be ours, that we can set up as a shelter for our community. And so that, of course, there'll be costs to run it, for people to work in it, hopefully volunteers. But definitely toward the facility will be where most of the money goes.
Can you email us when you work on different fundraisers
Yes.
for the capital campaign?
Yes, I would love to.
So,
Is there
okay.
a specific email I should send it to?
Oh, Ashley could give you all of our emails.
Okay.
That'll be good.
Great.
Spread the word.
Yeah, thank you.
And you all are also in communications with the EDP Housing Committee as well, right?
I believe so. I know we work with KHC a lot too, and we're really finding our way.
Okay.
So,
Well, I just tossed that out because there is a subcommittee of the Economic Development Partnership that's working on housing as well, so you might want to reach out to that
Okay.
committee as well, okay?
Okay,
All right.
all right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Item number 4, a Center Works presentation. Anthony and Andrea, you can pronounce your last name for me. I don't want to mess it up, right?
Anthony and Andrea Margita.
Margita, I would have been
Soft
right.
G, yeah.
I would have got it right, okay.
So, good evening. I'm Andrea Margita and Anthony, and we are the co-founders and executive directors of CenterWorks, a new initiative. We are located right over on the 3rd floor of the Hub building. So we'd like to tell you a bit about what we offer. We are a co-working space, we are an accelerator, and we are an incubator.
We're an initiative of Center College. Andrea and I just moved to the community a few months ago. We've been working on this initiative for over 2 years now. And our backgrounds are, we're lifelong innovators, we're lifelong entrepreneurs. We've started and run technology startups from everything from high-tech kind of stuff to nonprofits and charity work and everything in between. So we were moved by the initiative here and the challenge here. And so when the college asked us to move to Danville to lead the initiative that we spent time designing, we jumped at that because we got well connected to the community. And so we like it here, and so we're happy we're here. Our overall mission for CenterWorks is to help build a strong and resilient community. Because, and you know this, that when you have a community like that, it creates opportunities for everybody. Everything we do, all the programs that we put together, they team students and community members together. They work side by side. It's our hope and part of our plan to bridge the gap between college and community and build one strong community together. Everything all our programs are built on 2 strong foundations. One is the entrepreneurial mindset. That mindset is a growth mindset. Entrepreneurs and people who want to grow and want to learn, people opt into that. And they do that by adopting the characteristics of this mindset. We teach that to everyone, and we make sure that it's practiced in all the programs that we run. In addition to that, we show that everybody can be an innovator. It's not limited to Einstein and others like him. Everybody can be an innovator, and we teach a process for innovation called the human-centered approach to innovation. It's a derivative of design thinking, and the human-centered part that allows people to be innovators is simple because you focus on the people you want to serve, whether that's a community, whether that's a new business, or whether that's your classmates or your family, or whoever it might be. When you focus on the people you're trying to serve and take their perspective in all aspects of problem solving, you pull that perspective into defining the problem, solving the problem, implementing solutions. When you do that, anybody can be an innovator. So it's the mindset and the innovation process. So with that in mind, it's our hope to help build a culture of innovation here in Danville, in Boyle County, and throughout a 7-county region that we serve with CenterWorks. That culture is one of curiosity, of creativity, and innovation. Now, having said that, the examples of the programs that we put together, we have community collaboration groups, and those are designed to take on community challenges. We have active ones, as many people here know, that focus on, for example, access to fresh foods. There's another one that is just launching that has to do with better living, better housing, more affordable options for housing in our area. We also have programs that are focused on entrepreneurial efforts. Those who wish, prospective entrepreneurs, those who wish to create businesses, nonprofit and for-profit businesses. So we put together a platform there to assist those entrepreneurs in getting off the ground by using the innovation approaches and the mindset characteristics. And just to give you an example, we are starting our 4th entrepreneurial starters course that we call Liftoff. We're starting it this spring. We've already had 30 entrepreneurs come through it, and they are beginning to make their mark on this community. Plaid Elephant is an example. The Resources Group are another one of our groups that have come through. Some of the artists like York's Corks is an example of a group that has come through. 2 restaurants have come through, and many more are on the brink of launching their businesses, prospective entrepreneurs. Those include, in that prospective group, are Downtown Grocery, recreational company and events organization, and one that's focusing on assistance to those families who are dealing with Parkinson's disease.
So that's a quick summary, and what we really wanted to make sure you all know is that we would love to have you come up to CenterWorks, again, the 3rd floor of the Hub building. Come into our space. Again, it's a co-working space, so we have people who are purchasing co-working memberships. We have meeting spaces there. It's just a great place to gather and connect with other people who are innovating, who are very creative, who want to collaborate. We're seeing some familiar faces here today, but really we hope everyone else takes the time to come up and see CenterWorks. We'll give you a grand tour and a warm welcome. So thank you.
If I could, you say that anybody can be an innovator, and so how does somebody know if they are one? I mean, there has to be some sort of driving force in a person to put them on that path.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. That driving force is the mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset. That's part of, and we're going to leave you with a few of these things here, but that mindset includes certain characteristics, and they include a number of things which I won't go through now, but those characteristics are things that aren't difficult to understand, but they are things that people have to consciously adapt and put in their mind and go forward with. Like curiosity, like grit, perseverance, getting comfortable with not knowing the answer, knowing that's okay. Anything that you see as a failure is something that you learn from. And also empathy is a big part of all we do. So once you have that mindset, that disposition that you're referring to, then you can take on the human-centered approach to innovation, and that innovation process is really harnessing the strength and the knowledge and the needs of the people you want to serve, getting their voices, their minds, their intentions into the innovative process. And there's a process for capturing that, and it works, right?
It works. Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yep.
And thank you for doing that, because people see needs all the time in the community and want to do something about it, and now they have somewhere to go to. So how do community members participate, or is this mostly students?
No, that's
Great
yeah,
question.
that's a great question.
Okay.
Actually, it is, the entrepreneurs, or what we call emerging entrepreneurs, those are all community members. So we've already had people represent 5 of these, the contiguous counties that we serve. So these are individuals in the community who, we call them emerging entrepreneurs because they think they might want to start something, which is great. They're interested in something. So we put them through these exercises to figure out exactly what that will be once they determine who they want to serve. And then they're going to go and talk to all those people they want to serve and get to know them better before bringing forward an idea. So it isn't what that emerging entrepreneur thinks is this brilliant idea. It's actually what you learn the people you want to serve, or your potential customers really need or want. And then students are pulled into the equation, and they work alongside those entrepreneurs or any community member who is involved in a program. That's because we found students really want to connect with people in this community. They want to build relationships. So we give them a chance to do that in this professional setting. But they're not the ones bringing the advice, you know? It doesn't work like that. They're there to learn from the people they're interacting with.
Yeah.
So-
All of our,
Yeah. Where do people go? I guess a website that are
Yes,
interested?
Yes, centerworks.org is
Okay.
our website. And stop by, stop in and see us on the 3rd floor of the Hub building.
we want to encourage more than anything else, not to hold back.
Yep.
Just walk in the building, come up and see us. We have centerworks.org. We're going to leave some materials and business cards with
Great.
you today
Thanks.
as well. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything you can think of that the city can do to assist you that we're not doing now, or we could do better, or any suggestions along that line?
Well, I'm going to say we'd love for people to come up, okay? So we'd like to see all of the council members for sure come up and take some time to learn. The space and the programming was all customized to serve this region. So it's all tied together, the mindset, the human-centered approach to innovation. I mean, even the furniture reflects that. So it's this big picture, and it's worth coming in and seeing it. I think you'd be pretty excited. We'd like the city to realize, for a smaller city, this is a pretty exciting thing to be able to offer, to say, yes, we have co-working. Yes, we have an accelerator. Yes, we have an incubator. And yes, we are working closely to pull college and community together. We have something specifically for that. But I'm sure we can think of some more things to ask down the road, but
Go
that's
right
a
ahead.
start.
And if you want to get people up there, serve food, because Denise will come to serve food.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, we will do that.
We can do that. We start with great coffee today.
We have
Coffee,
excellent
that's what I was
coffee,
gonna say,
by the way,
coffee.
yes, we do.
So if someone just wants a change of scenery, they can bring their laptop up
Yes.
and just hang out? Do they need an appointment, or does it cost anything?
We do have co-working memberships, and you
Okay.
can learn about how that works on the website. You can get a day pass, you can, get 6 months, you can get a year, et cetera, and we have members now. We're just starting to, to market that, if you will. But we're also going to have community-wide co-working days, if you will. We're going to pick a few dates and say anybody can come up at any time. But for now, yes, come up and try it out. Anyone can try it out for sure before
Okay.
deciding to get a membership.
Yeah.
Well, let me, on behalf of the city, thank you all for your presentation, but also say welcome to Danville, because I know you've been there for a few months. And thus far, all the things that we've heard have been very exciting things. From
Well,
your
we appreciate that.
location.
Thank you,
We do
JH.
appreciate it.
We're excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thank you all. And do come back. Okay, next on our agenda, an update, a presentation about community landing page and the website. Emma Jackson?
Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Hi, my name is Emma Jackson. I am the CEO at The Idea Farm, and some of you may know who I am and what The Idea Farm is, but for those who don't, The Idea Farm is an advertising and marketing agency that's located right here in Danville. It was started by my late father, Ron Jackson, and we've actually been around over 4 decades. As for me, I grew up in Danville, about a block away. I went to Danville High School, go Admirals, and I graduated from Center College. So I may not have been a big face in the community, but I have been here my entire life.
She said, "Go Colonel."
All right, so there have been murmurings for quite some time about the possibility of Danville having its own landing page. In fact, Earl Coffey and several other community members approached the Idea Farm about this possibility last year. And we've been thinking and building and researching how something like this could be possible. But first, I wanted to talk about the problem that we are currently facing. There is no central place on the web for Danville-Boyle County. There is no organization of essential resources, opportunities, jobs, and the city has no software to manage its data and to communicate with citizens. As much as we do punch above our weight in a lot of categories, we are severely lacking when it comes to our digital and our online presence. And as much as we like to think that doesn't matter, unfortunately, we all know that is the first place that people look when they're assessing our community and what we have to offer. In fact, just to get into the difficulties accessing resources in this community online, there are 6+ websites from major city partners alone, not including key community organizations such as Ephraim McDowell, Center College, and the Arts Center of the Bluegrass. As a result, it is nearly impossible for residents and businesses to access key resources. This landing page would serve to organize and connect while gathering detailed data to improve the city's overall communication and impact. Just so we get an idea of what we're talking about here, here's some of our amazing websites. DanvilleKY.org, DevelopDanville.com, DanvilleKentucky.com, DowntownDanville.com, DanvilleBoyleChamber.com, DanvilleBoyleParks.com, and you're telling me that it's easy to find the resources and the opportunities that you're looking for? Imagine that you are a resident and also a business owner, and you need to find out how to pay your utility bill online, how to access some essential permits, and you want to know what's going on for the weekend. You would have to access 3 separate websites and dig around to find that information. What we need is one central hub where all of that information could be connected, while still providing the individual identities that so many of these organizations in our community have. So we want to develop a beautiful landing page that is the place on the web for our community, connecting visitors and citizens alike to essential resources and opportunities. We also want to use our powerful marketing automation software to improve data collection, organization, and outreach for the city, while streamlining how, when, and where citizens can contact government officials. And finally, we want to promote the landing page and a better overall online experience for all things Danville-Boyle County. So let's talk about this landing page. You may have heard of this tiny little town in Texas called Georgetown. This is a really good example of how other cities have put together a community landing page. They have their Chamber of Commerce, their Visit Georgetown, all of these other separate partner organizations that have their own websites, their own entities. But there is one place where you can access all of that information, and it is so well organized that it makes it easy, whether you're a visitor, a resident, a potential investor, to find all of the information that you might need. So I wanted to give you a visual of what this could look like for Danville. Imagine that you have one place where if you're a resident, if you're a business owner, an investor, someone going to try and pay their utility bills online or just understand the Parks and Rec schedule for the weekend, it would be easily accessible and it would connect the broader community, having access to the Boyle County website, Chamber of Commerce, Visit Danville, and so much more. It would really provide a much better experience online. Imagine going to one of these pages and then seeing all of the different connectors, all of the different partner organizations that we can possibly think of in an organized way that allows that back and forth, because our community has so much to offer for such a small community, but we need to be able to create those pathways online so that when people find out they're going to a show at the Norton Center, well, what else does Danville have to offer? Being able to understand that all of those things can cohesively live together in one place online is so powerful. In addition, we want to bring Danville's first CRM to city government. So a CRM, think of it like a citizenship relationship management software. It is a giant online database where you can safely and securely store information about citizens, store documents. Think of it like a really powerful back office suite of tools that you can use for project management, communication, email marketing, and so much more. There are so many powerful automations that can be customized to help the city run better, to use our small team in the most efficient way possible, and to better communicate with citizens. So here's a couple of instances for how this software could be used in the landing page. We can have forms that pop up that are asking people to stay involved, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's on different parts of the website, we can actually gather little bits of information. And when someone fills this form out and they say, I'm interested in learning more about Parks and Rec, or I want to stay in touch about city news, we can set off automations so that Parks and Rec says, oh, wow, I got an email. This person, I have all of their information. They're interested in learning more about us. And it just keeps things going. And it allows our city, our community, to be better at providing resources, to be better at communicating with our residents. Speaking of communication, we can also install a web chat with our software that allows people to have another way to contact the city staff. The web chat, the best part of all is it looks like you are responding back immediately. We can set up automations, automated text backs to say, thanks so much for getting in touch with the city. A representative will be back with you shortly. And then best of all, on the back end, all of those communications come to one place, whether they're calling, emailing, Facebook messaging. The goal is to allow your citizens to have as many ways to contact you as possible while streamlining that and making it as easy as possible for the staff to do their jobs. And finally, an initiative like this would not be complete without an effective marketing campaign. We need to have resources devoted to promoting this to make it the central place online, because right now there's about 6 or 7 other websites that might be in competition with that, but also just to show the cross-community collaboration of a project such as this. And we can use the power of social media to spread the word, and not just from the city, but from all of the partner organizations, and to provide essential community feedback. Because a platform like this will grow with Danville. So it is just the beginning. You can add on, you can grow, you can customize, and continually receive feedback from the community to make it an accurate representation of our community. Are there any questions?
That's pretty awesome. That's what we've been looking for a long time, I think.
We need this.
So we've been trying to, so we asked Ms. Jackson to come to try to address questions raised by, for example, Ms. Brown at the last commission meeting, or the recent commission meeting, where she talked about the deficiency of our webpage. The city's webpage is very mechanical. We want you to do business with the city. It is not necessarily a recruiting tool. It is not necessarily a marketing tool, although it's a component of that. So what we've tried to describe without a good way to illustrate it is really what our goal for internet access into our community looks like. And so the example that we found that finally best describes that is the website in Georgetown, Texas, where you have one easy place to manage that is your marketing center for anyone looking for the community. It's a place where all of our partner organizations participate. All of our existing web pages are an outshoot of that, so that if you want to just go pay your utility bill and keep it simple and interact with city ordinances and whatnot, you can end up on the city page that's very utility-like, but we've still collected your data so that if we have an outreach of email that we need to send out, we can do that, right? And so we are trying to use this as an opportunity to communicate what we're trying to get to, what our goal is. And so what we'd like to do is propose this as a project. We're working with the partner organizations like the CVB and the HART now that they have directors and new people in place that we haven't had. So we were held up a little while waiting on that to happen. So now that we're there, we want to work through the marketing committee with the EDP as it's currently formed and shoot into this project for the community. And so that we would expect you to hear about it again during the budget process. There may be money that we may have to allocate or ask for, but I want to offer her to you all to address questions that you all may have that maybe she can explain in a way that I may not be able to. This is a very brief presentation. She can talk about it for an hour. I see CenterWorks over there nodding their head. They understand kind of what we're talking about too. And I hopefully the message kind of comes off in this short presentation. But there's a lot we want to do and a lot we can do, and we can talk about it at length if that's what you all want to do. But we just want to let you know there's more to our goal with the website than just a functional website. The city's website itself may just be functional, but we need a bigger web page to do the things that people have identified as deficiencies on our website.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's
Great presentation. So I like my comment. Wow.
Emma, what the data we gather on, I guess, people's names, addresses, whatever we get, what uses are those to us?
So with a normal website, you can only gather IP addresses. You can know that 100 people have visited your website today. But when you tie in a CRM like Ideal, and are clever about how you ask for people's information. So sign up for newsletters. Maybe there's a little giveaway. Maybe there's something where there is an incentive for people to, download this white paper about the city or the master plan, put in your email address. We can start to do something called list segmentation so that you don't just have a database of everyone that lives in Danville that's paid their, you have, so-and-so is interested in after-school activities. So-and-so is interested in paying their utility bills online. They want to stay up to date on the city commission meeting. Suddenly, we start to develop profiles, tags. From an internal standpoint, that means that you can easily send out email marketing campaigns, for example, to only the people interested in city commission updates or only the people interested in after-school programs, keeping them continually engaged. We can also do some really cool stuff where it seems super personalized. So I can say, hey, Kevin, thank you so much for reaching out about this event. And instead of having someone manually type it up, we're smart enough, our technology, to gather the information you've given us and spit it back to you in a way that feels personalized and in touch. So it actually will improve the engagement rate that citizens have with city government.
Amazing.
I would accept to say the community, not just city government, but the
Yes,
engagement
the community
rate.
in general,
Right.
because
Right.
we can connect all that.
Right.
Yeah, we've needed this for a long time,
Yeah.
and I would definitely support, and I think everybody here would support this, working on this in the coming budget. So glad to have you in town.
Thank you.
So you all manage that for us, though, through it would be like a monthly fee or a yearly fee or?
Yes, there would be a couple different layers for it. We'd have to do an RFP, hire someone to do the webpage. We would expect they would be highly interested in that. Then you would do annual maintenance of it, so that it's current, so that it's active, and so that we actually use it.
And there would be a customized period if you were to use the software, because what you can't do if you just go out and get something off the street, like we can sit down and tailor exactly what our community needs, exactly what information is most pertinent, and what resources are most pertinent, and what automations will make our teams more efficient, and we can build that.
So then I would suggest to you, write down Georgetown, Texas, and go to their website and dig around on that website a little bit, and you'll start to realize a few things. One, all the other websites of the community are linked into that. So if CVB, for example, for us has a different address. For them, they all use the same georgetowntexas.org site. And so all the platforms are linked to that. So no matter where you end up, we still get the benefit of collecting that marketing material that she's just trying to describe for you. We still get to highlight your interest so that when it comes to marketing, we can target what you're interested in and not inundate you with information that makes you disinterested in everything else we're doing, right? It's really interesting, but dig around that website and you'll see, hopefully, the vision. That's the best one that I have been able to find over the last year that communicates what that vision is. The EDP tried to do this during the height of COVID but it turned into a misunderstanding, turned into a jobs board, really. And that's not really what this is. This is not, it was described as a recruiting tool. Yes, it's a recruiting tool, but it's not a jobs board, although we can link to jobs off of this. But this is when someone types in Danville, Kentucky, we want this page to pop up. We want this to be the recruiting hub of interest into our county and city.
And who keeps the information current? Is that something that just, like, you would communicate that
So that's,
to
It would
you
be
and-
a group, it would be a group, ultimately, it will become a group effort to be defined, truthfully. I mean, it's going to take, a little bit of support from other organizations, which is why, so when we were talking about it earlier, 3 or 4 months ago, we couldn't really give you too much insight because we didn't have a CVB director, and we couldn't then therefore talk to that director about what role they could potentially play. So now that we have one, we were able to meet with Kendall and talk about this project, and it seems something that the CVB could grow from also. So now that we're able to have staff in place to support that. So it would be a group effort amongst all those permanent staff to maintain, provide good, and it wouldn't just be CVB. It would be, we would like the library involved. We would like the airport involved. We would like all of our public agencies in the community that Center College, that people are looking to, when they come here, when they search for us, and they're ending up at one of those organizations, we want those organizations linked off the same page, because no matter for whatever reason you're looking at us here, we want to know. And so therefore we can market to you. We can tailor, if you like soccer, then the marketing you get is related to Center College's soccer schedule, for example, or the high school soccer schedule, or our Parks and Rec season schedule, things like that.
I think it's that feature that it appears as though you're talking in real time to somebody here. I wish I could be that person. That'd be fun. Just me or Carl Harmon. One of the two of us.
That's right.
But that's pretty amazing, that technology, and we're way behind.
Yeah. So do you need some direction from us?
No, we
or-
wanted to communicate outwardly because the question seemed to linger, and it's really hard to answer without showing something on the screen that communicates what our goal is better. I've tried, if you'll remember, the mayor asked a couple questions one time before, and it's just really difficult to answer. And so we wanted to bring in somebody that could more effectively communicate it than us, and she's done a wonderful job just trying to broach the subject with us all. So this is what we're trying to get to. So when people say, well, what are you trying to do with your website? Well, this is kind of what we're trying to get to. It's not an overnight thing, but this is our goal.
What would be the up and running time if we gave you the full go-ahead?
So the cool thing about this is that we could set up a phased approach where phase one is just linking out to all of these other existing organizations, in which case something like that and the most basic setup of the software could be done easily by the end of this year, if not within 6 months. And then on that, you could start to have those deeper conversations about the layers of what kind of data do we want to collect? How do we want to customize the software? What information doesn't exist online anywhere? That's super important to be on that website. So in my mind, get something out there that is beautiful and functional and start to receive community input and feedback as soon as possible. Because at the end of the day, if this does not serve the community, then it's not a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, and the other side of that is that, I'm just going to read the tea leaves and throw this out there, but technology probably isn't going away. I couldn't imagine it does, right?
You think?
But so it's going to be an ongoing process. It's going to be something that changes over the course of time. And it needs to be part of our normal workday, part of our normal workload. And traditionally, the website's something you build and forget about, and then you update it and replace it and re-adopt it or whatever you want to describe. And that's not sufficient, right? Like we need
And
to
is
do-
a waste of resources.
Correct. We want it to be a tool, which is what it is, and we want to take advantage of that tool.
And the reality is, it just kind of snowballs. So once we get one central landing page, so if someone Googles Danville, Kentucky, this is where it's going to take them. And then we can also track where they go from there and collect any piece of information that we might want. And so it's kind of like, we don't really know what data we want to collect until we start getting it in, and then we say, oh, when they go to our landing page, a lot of people are going to develop Danville or CVB or whatever. So then that's when the targeting comes in.
Or you can be set like this too. You can say that people that are looking for medical jobs here are coming from Louisville. So then therefore, it would make more sense for the hospital or those associated with medical industries needing employees to market and advertise in Louisville.
Right.
Better allocation of resources.
Right.
Correct.
Well, and I think the whole gist of your presentation is that if we move in this direction, it makes Danville, Kentucky become user-friendly. Right now,
Yes.
we're really not user-friendly. We're just a combination of a lot of different things. And so that would really be helpful for us. And I think our city manager is setting us up. He's bringing all these new nice things to these meetings because he's going into the budget process, and these things hopefully will find a place inside the budget for us to deal with. So that's great. And thank you, Emma, for your presentation. And I want to say welcome back to Danville, but it sounds like you really haven't left. But good
Thank
job.
you. Here and there. I'm kind of all over the place.
And you
these
said
days.
go Admirals, and you also want to say go Colonels too, though,
I
right?
know.
Okay.
All right, thank you
Other
so
questions
much.
for Ms. Jackson?
Is there any way we could do the first part just before the next budget cycle?
We're working on what that would look like, and
Okay.
we're trying to get through and make it a project and propose that to you with formality.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
And
you.
Kevin, you're not going to get that job. We want this, we want this to increase people's contact with our site,
Yes,
not
yes.
you to turn them away, right?
I was thinking that too.
He's all excited, right?
I don't like you all.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Jackson. Let's move on.
Thank you.
We have a proclamation for Women's History Month, and Commissioner Terry is going to share that proclamation with us.
This is the proclamation for National Women's History Month. Whereas in 1987, Congress declared March as National Women's History Month. And whereas the 2022 theme, Providing Healing, Promoting Hope, is both a tribute to the ceaseless work of caregivers and frontline workers during this ongoing pandemic, and also a recognition of the thousands of ways that women of all cultures have provided healing and hope throughout the history. And whereas this year we are reminded of the importance of healers and caregivers who are helping to promote and sustain hope for the future. And whereas women have long advocated for compassionate treatments and new directions in public health and in women's mental and physical health. And whereas women have historically led the way in mending divisions, healing wounds, and finding peaceful solutions. And whereas this timeless work has helped countless individuals in our communities to recover and follow their dreams. Therefore, be it resolved that Mayor G. Michael Paris and the Board of Commissioners of the City of Danville do hereby proclaim the month of March 2022 as National Women's History Month, and encourage all citizens to honor local women who bring and have historically brought these priceless gifts to their families, workplaces, and neighborhoods.
Thank you, ma'am. Chair will entertain a motion to approve this proclamation.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Any other questions or comments? If not, the chair will call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Proclamation passes. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is for the appointment of a citizen to our cemetery committee. And the mayor has, through communications and the process, has recommended Mrs. Sarah Albright Berry as a new member of the cemetery committee. And he also wants to call to our attention to the communities committee that Mrs. Berry also serves on the ethics board currently. So Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval of the appointment of Sarah Berry to Cemetery Committee.
Second.
Any comments, questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Appointment, motion carries. Thank you. Next item is Resolution 2022-02-2801, Tree City application. Our city clerk, Ms. Ashley Rader, is going to present that to us.
This is just the approval for the application for certification to be a tree city again this year. We do this annually.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any questions or comments? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I move for approval of Resolution 2022-02-2801.
Second?
Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. We're at the point where we ask for the city manager to give us a report, an update.
Thank you, Mayor Commissioners. We sent an email out this morning. We had previously scheduled a budget meeting for this Wednesday to really kick off our budget calendar. We're postponing that in deference to Mayor Hunstead's passing. We wanted to make sure that that's known. We'll give you a new calendar as soon as we can. We didn't give an update on a lot of other things, partly because we were at KLC Day on the Hill last week, which was, I felt like, very successful personally, based on the feedback we had received. We met with several representatives and legislators and felt like we promoted Danville and talked about the initiatives of cities through KLC, but also our own projects with some of our partners. I know we had Stanford there, and then some other folks went with us also. Felt like that was successful, but also we spent 2.5 days with the KCMA, the Kentucky City Managers Association annual meeting, which was last week in Lexington. And we were able to look at what some other cities have done as we're talking about a downtown TIF district. We've talked about the downtown master plan, the next phase of that. Now that the fire station is rounding up or nearing completion, we would want you to expect that we start talking about the downtown master plan again, as that block where the old fire station is really the cornerstone of what we do with that property as a community, is going to be up for discussion over the next few months and as we go through the downtown master plan process. So we want to put that on your radar and let you know that we are investigating alternatives to TIF districts and things like that. With that, that's really all the urgent update I have for you. Do you have any questions for us?
Not a question, but would you update the public on the service arrangements for former Mayor Hunstead?
They are, Ashley, do you know the formal times? I don't want to say something incorrectly.
I know the service is Wednesday at 11 at Centenary, and then visitations, I believe, is Tuesday night from 5 to 8, I believe.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for our city manager, Mr. Kofi?
I had a question about the budget schedule. I had emailed you, I'm going to be gone March 31st, and I don't know if you all want to chat. I don't know how important that meeting is, or if everybody'd want to switch it. It's on a Thursday. I didn't realize it was before spring break, so.
Yeah, we can adjust that, and I'll look at, knowing that you're not going to be there, since we know that we're going to have to shift it around a little bit, we'll look at an alternative day for that meeting
Okay.
also.
It was about the comp plan. I wanted to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, thanks.
So we're going to have to kind of shift everything at this point.
we're going to rework it.
Okay.
Yep.
So just rework that in the next few days so we can plan, please.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am,
Thank you.
y'all will have it this week.
Thank you.
And they'll all start 11:30 and after? He didn't make a comment, did he? Okay. Let's move right along then. Next on our agenda is that we hear the public at this point, and you may approach us and talk to us about your concerns or issues, congratulate us on the success we've had, and we give you 3 minutes or less to do all those things. Mr. Hunt, you've stood up, so you want to approach us? All right.
I got two. I guess one of them mostly to, both of them probably most to Earl.
Yes, sir.
One is when y'all gonna move back into the Bisco building. And two, have y'all heard anything about what they're gonna do with that building down on East Main Street across from me?
Oh, the apartment complex? Okay.
Yeah. You know how long I know none of y'all in here would want to see that building in front of y'all's house. Is me and all the other neighbors down there been looking at it like that. Something needs to be done about it.
Well, can we address those two
And last
concerns?
time I heard that they already got the insurance money, so they need to be doing something about it.
I would suggest, on the first one, moving back in down there, we're working on renovations of that building. I know Josh has a schedule, and he's not here tonight because of the death in his family. We would suggest that I will make sure we call you tomorrow and give you an update on the other one also. Bridget's not in the room. That's a code enforcement issue. She has that information. As far as, it is in private hands, it is related to the insurance claim. And so let me give you a better update, and we'll contact you in the morning.
I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Not before 10 o'clock.
Do you want me to call you at 11 o'clock? Will that be okay?
That'd be good.
Yeah, okay. We'll call you
Five
about
after
that.
10
Y'all
then.
been
you
working
told
on,
him.
how long y'all been working on the Bisco building? About
Yeah.
2 years or 3? I mean, does it take remodeling that building that long?
No, sir, it does not. We've not gotten, there's not been a construction contract awarded on it. We've demoed the inside, the old office building. There's things like that we've done as staff. But the heavy lifting on the construction, the new space that's necessary to combine all the departments, not started yet.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt.
Good to see you, Mr. Hahn.
Get done, so you can use that old fire station building for home stuff.
Yes, sir, and we have talked about that internally. We know that it's important for us to get moving on that.
You were saying, okay, about getting the Bisco building complete, not about the use of the fire station though, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that dialogue with the fire station can occur.
I didn't know if you heard that second part, okay. Other hear the public about items not on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll move to the next item, and that is for commissioner comments. Give you all 3 minutes or less to make your comments this evening.
I would like to thank Earl for coordinating our time in Frankfurt with our state representatives and also with surrounding communities. I don't think that approach has ever been done before. And I got to spend some time with the mayor of Stanford and got to meet some other elected officials and leaders of other communities that I had not gotten a chance to interact with. So I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your approach to that, because there is a group of cities and communities that we need to continue to communicate with and make a united front with.
Yeah, we need to meet with, what we'd like to do in speaking with representatives from each one of those communities is have a meeting locally with all of us together, similar to the symposium we had in August, but have something just more of a regional meeting with just us as a group. The unique thing is what you learned last week is that each one of our communities, although few miles apart, are represented by different folks in Frankfurt.
Right.
And so it's important for the representatives in Frankfurt to understand how close we work together locally here.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you including all of those communities. And I just wanted again to mention former Mayor Hunstead. He spent his life serving this country and this community, and we just need to make sure that we recognize that. And I actually got to speak with him about a month ago, and he was not well, but he was in good spirits. So thoughts and prayers for the family, and as a community, if we could just lift them up, that would be great.
Other commissioner comments?
I guess quick local announcements. Little Cherubs, if you have kids or infants, is this Friday and Saturday at Centenary. And of course, the money goes towards local ministries. It's a great place to buy secondhand items for kids, which is always best because they get everything ruined in a couple months. And the other, Bluebird Market finally found a home on Church Street, 132 Church Street. They are currently taking small donations because the area is smaller. There's not an opening date yet, but they are taking donations. 516-1193 is the number if you need something picked up. And they benefit the Wilderness Trace Child Development Center, which is very important. So if you have items, small items or antiques or small pieces of furniture that are nice to donate, it's a great cause. So that's all.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Cottle?
No, sir.
What do you say? Commissioner Cottle?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, I'm
No,
sorry.
sir.
I just want to take time to congratulate and commend the Advocate Messenger newspaper. They used to always cover all these meetings, so I would be able to do this face-to-face, but they don't cover us like they used to. But anyway, if you haven't read last Friday's newspaper, I challenge you to do that. I went out on social media, something I don't do very often, and challenged our community to pick up the Advocate Messenger's newspaper last Friday, the hard copy or the online copy. And the reason being is that the newspaper highlighted 3 African-American males in our community in a very, very, very positive light. And that just was a great time for me to sit down and read the newspaper during Black History Month. Mr. Glenn Ball, who is the vice chair of the Danville Board of Education, talked about his time going to John W. Bates segregated schools and graduated and going to Tennessee State University, and all his years of working in the aviation industry, and he moved back to Danville. And why he came back to Danville? Then, of course, Mr. Robert Trumbo, who graduated from, well, he attended Bate, graduated from Danville High School, but then went to EKU, got his bachelor's degree, came back to Danville, and was hired as the first African-American male to teach at Danville High School, his own alma mater. And for those who don't realize that, he spent his entire career at Danville High School as a history, social studies teacher. He tells folks he taught me all I know about history, but he also finished up as a high school guidance counselor. And then Mr. Shadon Brown, a Danville High School admiral football player, baseball player,
Former Bay Bulldog.
former Bait Bulldog, graduated from Danville High School, went to Campbellsville University and graduated, and has become a football coach. He is currently the football coach assistant football coach, I better get that correct, at West Virginia University. He works with Neil Brown, a Boyd County graduate, who's the head coach at West Virginia University. But for the Advocate Messenger to highlight those three African-American males in the same edition of their paper last Friday was just very uplifting to me, and so I had to go out on social media and try to make it a very uplifting experience for all of the youth in our community. So I sent something to all the schools, said, be sure you all share last Friday's newspaper with our kids, because they need to be able to read about the fact that there's local Black history, there's local history being made in our town every day. Those three guys are very special, very dear to me, because they're African-American males and they're very successful. I know it took a long time to get that out, but I got very emotional last Friday about it, so pre-forgiven. Next item on our agenda. I'm sorry, anybody else got any comments? Number 9 on the agenda is the payment of the bills. Chair will entertain a motion.
I will move for approval of payment of the bills in the amount of $221,991.20.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments about the bill list? Thanks, Ms. Jessica Cheatham, for putting it together for us this time. If not, Chair would call for the question. All those in favor of the March 1st, 2022 bill list being approved, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next item is Resolution 2022-02-2802. Uh-oh, Marshall, you have the next 5 items. So you know I'm going to give
I
you,
apologize ahead of time.
no, you know I'm going to give you 3 minutes or less for all 5 of them. Not
Okay.
each, but all 5 of them. Oh, go ahead. I'm just joking.
Thank you, Commissioner. The first agenda item that I have here is regarding an amendment to the Resolution 2021-12-13-07. If you all remember, back in early December the 8th, 2021, that was when we put out the bid awards for the direct purchase of the pipe. So in efforts to create a tax savings for the city, excuse me, and expedite the projects. Shortly after the bid award, in December, we had the mayor sign a requisition for one of the low bidders on the project, Core and Main. And then shortly thereafter, upon the signature of the requisition, I was notified by Core and Main that the pipe was no longer available, especially at that price. So, again, it created a situation, not only from a schedule standpoint, but a cost standpoint with the city. So went back and forth with Core Main several times, and we couldn't come to a resolution. They did provide a middle-of-the-road approach, but yet their pipe specifications did not meet the requirements of the RFP, so it was essentially obsolete. So we carried those conversations on, and we are to the point now that the city is in a position to look at a cost savings as compared to what Core and Main has provided. The original provision by Core and Main was an additional $34,000 on top of what they bid. So, and then obviously we got legal counsel involved, and I'll let Stephen take over.
Sure, thank you. So when the city sends out a request for bids and then they're submitted, and then the company provides requisition of certain materials for the bid price, it's approved by the city, signed by the city, and then submitted, and then the material cannot be provided, or at least cannot be provided without a price increase of to the tune of $38,000, obviously we had an issue. And so what could not be worked out initially with the local office, and the city recognizes the the restraints on the market due to COVID and other global situations. However, the importance of the city being able to rely upon the bids submitted is critically important for budgeting and staff efficiency and a host of other reasons. So we provided letter to council for the company, and we've had ongoing situations or conversations up through today, and it's why I've left this meeting a couple times to take those conversations. The gist is this: if they had the material, I believe we are in a position that they would provide it upon the bid price. However, they don't. And they have effectively communicated openly that they believe the best path forward for the city is to proceed with the next lowest bidder, and then we can enter into conversations about how to recover any shortfall to the city. So I think the logical path forward now from a legal perspective is to proceed as the resolution indicates with the next lowest bidder. And I believe the deficiency to the city is that about just shy of $18,000 is the cost to the city. And so after you pass this resolution, I would also further ask that you authorize me to enter into settlement negotiations with Core and Main and see where we can transpire or land short of legal actions. It's important for the city to be able to protect its process, but we also have recognition of market factors, and so I think proceeding in hopes of potential settlement is the right way to go if you're so inclined. So Marshall, with that, I'll turn it back to you, but I think Marshall set it up well. The next lowest bidder here, if approved, is Ferguson Waterworks for those Group B materials. And again, it's about an $18,000 increase from what was received from Core and Main, but they have confirmed, I believe, Marshall, correct me if I'm wrong, they can provide the materials for their bid price.
Correct.
Okay.
And we're going to purchase the materials to get the sales tax savings?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
We need a motion?
I'll move for approval of Resolution 2022-022802.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Not those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Marshall?
So do we need to authorize you, do we need to make a motion to authorize you to proceed?
I think the next step is we can discuss it under the litigation matter in executive session, and
Okay.
then come to our conclusion, and then come back out of, and make that final determination. But that's the way I would, we'll hold off on that until our executive session item, please. Thank you.
And thank you,
executive
Marshall,
session?
for
We
being
don't know.
diligent in that.
Okay, Marshall, you were up for 2803?
Thank you, Commissioner. This agenda item is in regards to change order number 3 to the existing Montgomery Brothers contracting contract that we have for the Perryville Road elevated tank and booster pump station project that we have going on currently. This will be the pursuit of an additional $108,739 as a change order number 3. But keep in mind, this is going to be work that would be included in the Perryville Road Phase 3 work that is projected to go through Perryville in the future. So this work will actually be taken out of that project in the future and be part of this contract, brought into this contract. The primary reason of doing that is, if you remember, I discussed some time ago about delays due to the COVID market. You know, we've had delays in getting the generator, we've had delays in getting some of the valves and other appurtenances for the project. So the contract window has actually grown. So we have an area there that we can actually see if we can incorporate other work into that contract while there's some other primary work going on, but also try to pull out of Phase 3 what we can pull into this phase right now. So in efforts to do that and still be proactive. And also, this is in regards to the installation of a pressure reduction valve. So what does that mean? From a water standpoint, we want to introduce a pressure reduction valve to reduce the pressure that flows into Perryville so that we don't damage the water lines in Perryville. Technically, that was going to be a part of the upcoming contract in the future, but we wanted to go ahead and pull that into this contract now, only simply because the existing valves that we have in some of the appurtenances are non-functional right now. So with the addition of the new pressures and the new water lines with the new construction work, we want to make sure to incorporate that into this contract.
Okay. Ready for a motion?
I'll move to approve Resolution 2022022803.
Is there a second?
Second.
Other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Marshall. You have number 4 as well, right?
Yes, sir. This agenda item is just an easement acquisition across parcels owned by the Bull County Industrial Foundation for the Kate Drive Water Line Project. So pretty straightforward.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval 2022-02-2804.
Second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. 05, Marshall, you continue, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. This is an agenda item to authorize easement acquisitions across the Bull County Industrial Foundation. Again, yet this is for the Lebanon Road Sewer Project. They happen to be owners on both projects.
I move for approval of a resolution 2022-02-2805.
Second.
Thank you all. Other questions or comments? If none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Marshall, number 6.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. This is a resolution, same project. This is a Lebanon Road Sewer Project. This owner is Absky Corporation, who is Meggitt, if you are familiar with Meggitt out there on Corporate Drive. This is to acquire an easement across the property of Absky Corporation for the sewer line installation.
I'll move to approve Resolution 2022022806.
Second.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you again. So number 15, the engineering report. Mr. Coffey, you going to pitch it for Josh?
I'll talk about that for about a half a second with, I did notice, to answer Mr. Hunn's question, Josh did note that the architect is finalizing the drawings with the project bid date in May, and anticipating construction being completed by the end of 2022 for the Public Works building. That was in his report. Other than that, we're going to hold this report for 2 weeks until Josh can be present.
Okay. Is that your report for number 15? You want to do number 16? I'm going to hold on.
I can go ahead and do number 16.
16? Okay.
Yes. With the city, with assistance from the Arts Center, conducted a call to artists for the sculpture to be created in the Memorial Plaza in front of the fire station, utilizing the 9/11 relic that we had, the piece of steel from 9/11. After reviewing artists' qualifications, the selection committee shortlisted 4 artists who then created design proposals. This committee has conducted interviews and reviewed the proposals of the 4 artists, and the committee is recommending the selection of Guy Tedesco as the artist to complete the sculpture, and you can see the selected proposal in the packet. The project gives a budget of $19,000 from the project towards this line item.
Need a motion?
I move for approval of resolution 2022-02-2807.
Second.
Any questions or comments about the
That's pretty
artist's
cool.
Yeah.
selection?
Design is neat.
This
Yeah, it's
looks
pretty
really
neat.
nice.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? If not, All those in favor of 02-2807?
Aye.
Aye.
Say aye. Those opposed? Okay. Mr. Puffy, you want to do number 17 for Mr. Morgan as well?
We could do it. Resolution 22-02-2808 hires and authorizes the professional service agreement with a structural engineer to evaluate and address water issues in the elevator shaft at the parking garage. We've struggled with that for a long time. We want to decrease water infiltration into that shaft and in that stair corridor. It has caused us to do extensive maintenance in that shaft over time. And so this is a move towards a permanent solution that can prevent future maintenance.
Okay. Ready for a motion?
I'll move to approve Resolution 2022-02-2808.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
We do have a need for
Nice try.
executive session for both litigation and personnel.
Nice try.
I try.
I have my cheat sheet back over here, so I will be glad to do that. I will move that we go into executive session to discuss personnel matters pursuant to KRS 61-810-1F, and also to discuss litigation pursuant to KRS 61-810-1C.
And that's what a 15-minute limit, 5-minute limit?
Second.
All right, been probably moving second, and we go into executive session for those stated reasons. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Back in the regular session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Crawford, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Staff is recommending the hiring of Ronnie Yates to the position of Parks and Recreation Assistant Maintenance Supervisor.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
He just can't stay
Congratulations.
away. He just can't stay away.
No.
Mr. Coffey?
Thank you. Staff is recommending the promotion of Daniel Grigsby to the position of Police Detective.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Mr. Grisby.
We are asking that you accept the resignation of Matthew Owens from the position of Network Technician.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Yes, sir.
Staff is asking that you accept the resignation of Joshua Agee from the position of firefighter.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Last item, staff recommends that you authorize council to engage in settlement discussions with Core and Main regarding potential breach of contract issues surrounding a bid on pipe materials short of filing legal action.
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Get up and leave.
Ash is opposed, right?
Thank you.